Welcome back to Her Perspective. If you're just joining us, we're down to the last segment of the show, but we've been having some very interesting discussions, understanding this whole idea of singleness, this issue of singleness that's bother or a burden for many women. We have Nadine here, Keisha, and Geraldine, and we were asking the question at the last segment in the Vox Pop, through the Vox Pop, should everyone be married? Well, this segment, we're going to be looking at the woman. Should she be the chaser, Nadine, or the chased?
Well, based on my history, I've never had to chase, so I don't know that I'd want to start now. But there's also another side to me in that I have a very strong mental, spiritual thing. I'm sort of one of those strange persons who will think of things and think of people, and they are saying at the same time they're calling and saying, is everything okay? I'm of the view that the person who is supposed to connect with me will know, and we will meet because God's got my back.
But would you, no, that's a diplomatic answer though. Would you go after a male? Would you be the one to make the first step?
Define go after. It would no. I guess
in principle, to seek a date.
In principle, no.
To buy
because I would only be interacting with people who I know and all of that. So no, it's not my thing.
Not your thing.
No.
Keisha.
I share the very same sentiment.
Why is that?
I don't know if it's because of how it's cultured. Yeah. Maybe it's a tradition for women to, wait for the man to make the first move. To invite you out for a date. Just like I don't believe it's right for a woman to propose to a man. I believe this is something the man should do.
But some men are shy, Keisha. Some men need a little encouragement. And
I know, but I'll encourage him, yes. But I'm not going to make that first step to say, okay, I may not propose to him, but I'll say, darling, I believe we're at a stage, aren't we going to
help him along.
Help him along. But I'm not going to say, okay, darling, will you marry me? No, I'll not do that. But I'll try to have little discussions. There are also some really interesting clips on YouTube that gives you information about, what you should do at a particular stage of a relationship. When is it time to tie the knot? Stuff like that. So we could watch those things. We could watch these things together. Yeah.
But are they necessarily foolproof?
There's no such fool.
No. What if you find yourself in a relationship though, and this gentleman, this man, has all the criteria, well, most of the criteria that you desire, and he's just not good when it comes to leading out in certain aspects of the relationship, taking flowers for you. He's kind, he's willing to make sacrifices, yes, but he's not willing to make the first step in all circumstances. How you think you would deal with a situation like that, Jerry?
Because I'm sort of crazy. I would probably buy an orchid and give it to him. I would do like somebody. No. I don't know. How would I encourage a person? Well, you said if you're in a relationship.
Right.
What if you're not in a relationship, but you would like to get into a relationship? I don't know if it's going to be desperation, but probably I would make a move.
You'd make the move.
Probably.
I mean,
I am not sure. Sometimes you say, I would never do so and so, but a situation arises and you do it.
Right. You realize
for whatever reason, and it's not necessarily that you're running out of time or anything like that. But you could. Because maybe the person is, as you said before, shy and just wants a little encouragement. So you just nudge them a little bit. You don't have to be you can do it subtly,
Jerry, as you speak of that, a friend of mine shared with me an experience of something that happened to him last week. He went to play his saxophone at a particular church, at a funeral. And at the end of the service, 3 ladies came up to him asking him if he needs somebody to be with. Okay. A case of desperation, some might say.
Inspiration.
Yes. But we find that for many women, many females, the biological clock is ticking. They want to find a mate, so they'll do anything.
But that usually backfires, you know. Anything done without clear thought and done in desperation is not going to be a good thing to do. I have a friend who is a solid woman of God living in New York, a widow, and she's now married. And one of the things she shared with me, and that's something that I think we're losing in our society, in that we're not having the older generations interact with the younger ones to give share some hints and some tidbits on what worked for them. And she said her husband, yes, they're not married, but he's not the kind of proactive type. And so she taught him what she wanted. She likes getting flowers, so she started to take flowers home and say, honey, this is for you. And, you know, and then he learned what it was that she needed. So she showed him, she patterned for him what she wanted. But this was already within the context of a marriage. Some men are very put off if you're the woman making too many advances, and they're like, okay, fine, you think you're the man. So you have to really know what's going on, and it's about the people involved.
But, you know, as I listen to you and Keisha, you know, I think that sometimes the women actually make the move, but it is done in such a subtle way that the man doesn't even know that he was moved on.
I was thinking about that because I'm saying, for example, I'm dating someone now, and he didn't make the first move in a sense. Hold on. Not to say that I went up to him and said, you know, oh, I'd like to be with you. No. I saw him at church singing more than once.
Tell us.
And I observed him for a while. He had such a lovely smile. And so he sang at church one Sabbath. And I went up to him and I said, you have such a lovely voice.
Exactly.
You know, I really enjoyed that. And then he said, are you coming back to church tomorrow?
There you go.
I said, yes, sure. And of course, you know, I made sure I wore a nice dress, made sure my hair was, you know, well together. And we developed a friendship. But I was the one who went up to him, and,
you know,
because I saw him as a prospect.
It's about friendships. And it's if it is you're coming from a place of building a relationship, even just as a stranger, hi, how are you, good morning. Sometimes that may be viewed as an advance, but it's really just courtesy. And it can build anything from there.
But you know, though, I had a situation. I was in a supermarket with a friend, and I saw a policeman walking, nice uniform, pants seam, well seamed, nice cap, everything. So I stopped and I said, no man, him dressed nice. I said, I have to tell him, say him look good. So I went up to him and I told him. I don't know what that, he probably interpreted it a different way. And a conversation began, and I realized that he had some liking for me. So he asked me which church I go to. I said, how you know I'm Christian? He said, yeah man, I can see. So I said, I go to North Street, you can come for services. I didn't say it seriously. But he showed up the next day at service. So I'm just saying, you know, to time with your point, sometimes what is said can be misinterpreted. But on the whole issue of finance though, Sister Bernal, finances, though, Lorraine, sorry. Yes. When it comes to the finances, how a single woman might deal with the issue of, you know, spending and earning and budgeting and all of that might be different from how a married woman deals with it.
It depends on the married woman. Because in some marriages, the financial situation is shaky. One spouse may be employed, the other one may be employed, but the job situation is weak. So even in a marriage, you can be operating like it is one income. For the ones for whom the income is good on both sides, then all sorts of wonderful plans can be made for house acquisition and the like. For a single person, everything becomes harder if you have the average kind of salary trying to do the things that require partnerships. And unfortunately, some people actually target people because of their NHD benefits.
Wow.
Oh yes, he has NHD benefits. Oh, she can. Oh yes. And so the rationale for getting together is just wrong. So I'll stay without a house if I have to go that route.
My dear, we have just touched one, and I'm thinking, Adis, we have to have a part 2 or maybe 3.
This is too much. Y'all teaching me stuff.
So at this point, we're going to give our words of wisdom for this week. Now, while marriage is God's general plan, singleness is within the divine design as well. It might be in the best interest of certain individuals to remain single, especially some Christians. Remember, marriage is not a cure for singleness. 1 Corinthians 7:7 says, for I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man hath his proper gift of God, after this manner and another after that. God's special acceptance and protection are over those who by choice or circumstances face life alone.
Wow.
Ladies,
It's
was
like,
wonderful
it's just
having
like when we do a big sigh.
In whatever condition you find yourself there with, to be grateful and
content.
thank God and be content. Yes.
and so this is where we end the program this week. All my single ladies in the house, feel
So we
sweet.
have to end.
This is how we end her perspective this
Hopeful.
week.
Hopeful.
Status
Oh yes,
hopeful.
and according to Jerry, hopeful.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for being here, ladies, for sharing, and for our viewers for tuning in. Join us next week as we will have another episode of Her Perspective, where we'll continue to highlight some of the experiences and issues that affect all women.